Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Let's take some stock action now from our experts. Mitesh Thakkar and Shrikant Chauhan have been sitting with us. Mitesh, what are the stocks that you're going to be looking at today?
Yeah. Morning, Sonia. I have a mix of buy and sell calls, so 2 buys and 2 sells. On the selling side is SBI Life with a stop at 1310 for targets of 1255 and Laureus Labs with a stop at 538 for targets of 512. On the buying side is Granules with a stop below 312 for targets of 332. And Delta Corp had a good breakout in the last hour of the session yesterday on a mild pullback, say around 218, 219, buy with a stop at 212 for targets of 233.
Okay, by the way, just want to keep an eye on how Vedanta has opened, pre-open, because I think that really would be your first stock to track early morning. It's no longer in the index, but it's a very influential stock for the measures pack. And, you know, the sense you got is the rally that you had for last 2 days, the entire rally could be at risk. It's starting 10% down. F&O stock, so that's the first temporary freeze that you have on Vedanta. Really, I mean, so much flip-flop. All over the place. Shrikant, what about your stock calls?
Yeah, Anuj. I think, United Spirit is clearly indicating us that the stock is heading higher. The stock has completed its correction around 750, 770 levels, and after that, the stock is consistently forming higher top, higher bottom. Now it is very close to the breakout level, and on the dismissal of the important level of 870, we are expecting stock to move towards 1000 or maybe 1050. So it is very close to the major breakout and we should be buyer at current levels. With a stop loss at 830 on the downside, we can expect 890, 900 in the short term. And the other stock on which we are bearish is Hindalco, because here the stock has formed double or multiple top sort of formation. The stock can slide again to the levels of 400 or maybe 395 in the near term. So it's a short at current levels with a stop loss at 431.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Shrikant, for that. Have a good day. That's the opening, by the way, on the rupee. Very close to that 80 mark again. 79.80 is where we're trading at. And the first tick on the markets as well is not looking good at all, down about 200 points. We'll wait for these rates to adjust. Generally, in the last few days, we've seen every dip getting bought. For now, we are just, at that 17,670 level. Let's see how it goes. Mehraboon Irani is still with us. Mehraboon, I wanted your thoughts on a space that you track very closely, which is autos. But within that, the tire space has been doing really well. I mean, JK Tires, for example, was up 17% yesterday. And I do know that raw material prices have fallen quite a bit. But is demand so strong that it's justifying these kind of moves on tires? And would you buy any of these names now?
I possibly saw it coming. I think, Sonia, you and I have discussed this sector so many times over the last few years. I think, and looking at the way the stocks moved, I think it was but natural that this question was coming. I would say that the tire industry has been, in a way, on a roll. I think the revival in auto sector, the falling prices of natural rubber, higher operating margins is something which you already mentioned in your question itself. The threat from imported Chinese tires remains. But the point is, if you possibly hear some tire company managements talking, they are saying it has possibly peaked out. Incremental imports are not going to happen in terms of percentage beyond a point. I think the reduction in crude prices also has been a positive for this particular sector right now. Well, let's understand one thing, that there has been an increase in production of natural rubber. There has been a reduction in crude oil prices. Now, why crude oil prices? Because you can make synthetic rubber out of this crude oil. And tire companies have the flexibility of moving between natural rubber to synthetic rubber. So everything is auguring well for them. They are also possibly increasing the imports of other raw materials, so the tire companies, which is an indication that they are quite gung-ho as far as the demand goes going ahead. The point is, will it actually fructify? One really doesn't know. But on the other hand, if you look at the valuation of tire stocks, despite the sharp run-up in price, you cannot say they are very expensive. They are into the low double digits, maybe 9 times, 10 times, 11 times. So I cannot and you cannot have reservation that they are expensive stocks. But the way the stocks have gone up, virtually there is a consensus buy as far as tire stocks goes, be it a JK Tyre, be it an MRF, be it a CEAT, be it an Apollo Tyres. I think the point is there more money to be made in the shorter term? I don't honestly have an answer to that, because after the run-up, there is a distinct possibility it could consider and come down. If I was an investor wanting to buy, I won't be in a hurry to buy after the decent run-up which we have seen over the last 2, 3, 4 trading sessions. I would wait for a better opportunity, but even if then I still want to push myself to buy something, I would put Apollo Tyres at number 1 ahead of the others. So MRF, I always stated, Sonia, you very well know it, and so the viewers, they always say that it is like a core stock in somebody's portfolio. But at the present valuations, at the present levels, I would say Apollo Tyres possibly edges out the others in terms of stock preference.
All right, Tyres, I mean, absolutely on fire yesterday. See it especially. Volumes, some of the highest we've seen in the last year and a half. Stock was up 20% or so. Mehraboon, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program this morning. I mean, let's just look at the Nifty. It's settling in 100 points lower. I think just a couple of minutes more for the pre-open. But that's a fair indication now where the market's likely to open at 9:15, 17,764 and 59,599 on the Sensex as well. We'll keep an eye on the currency as well, which is opening about 10 paise weaker against the dollar.